Good morning, everyone. Pastor Corey Rowland here with Yerixville First, Midvale, and Newport United Methodist Church, coming to you with another devotional out of the book of Corinthians. We'll be in 2 Corinthians 7, verses 5 through 7, and we're looking again at the but God reference. And it says, "For indeed, when we came to Macedonia, our bodies had no rest, but we were troubled on every side. Outside were conflicts, and inside were fears." And maybe many of you can relate to this verse. Maybe many of you are coming to God at a position right now where you are troubled on every side, where you have outside worries and inside fears. And maybe you are just saying, well, how is the goodness of God exist in such a terrible place? Maybe you're in a very, very dark place. And Paul was in that place many times. Paul was in a place where he had faced death, where he had faced struggles, where he had faced weakness, where he had faced being all alone and being abandoned by others. But Paul says, even though we had all this, Paul said, "But God, who comforts the downcast, comforted us by the coming of Titus. And not only by his coming, but also by the consolation with which he was comforted in you, when he told us of your earnest desire, your mourning, your zeal for me. So I rejoiced even more." And I love this verse because Paul is saying, even though we were downcast, even though, it seemed like everything was going wrong, Paul says, God still found a way to comfort us. He comforted us with the coming of Titus, and Titus brought news of this church. Titus brought news to Paul about other believers and how they were praying for him, how they were mourning with him, how they were zealous for the Lord. And Paul was comforted by this. And so the message here is, no matter what our circumstances, no matter how we feel, God will find a way to comfort us. We may be in trouble, but God will comfort us. All we have to do is trust in Him. Maybe we won't always see that comfort. Maybe we won't always feel comforted right away, but we have to trust that God will comfort us. Maybe that comfort won't look like what we think it ought to look like, but the Bible promises that God will comfort and be with those who trust in Him. So we may have troubles, but God will get us through them. Amen.